This is the prototype of the Riide electric bike. It was born on Kickstarter. I was just talking to Jeff, it's one of the founders, and Amber, the other co-founder, and they were kind of giving me the lowdown on this thing. It's just a super simple, relatively affordable, city style, almost like a commuter electric bike that's designed to be stealth and just really easy to operate. And I've got to say, very lightweight. It's designed to be about 34 pounds, final version. This one's steel. The final version will be aluminum. And they're just sort of finishing up on the geometry. It's going to have sort of a removable plate on the bottom so you could replace the batteries. And so they're already thinking about support and keeping these things on the road. And I love that. I love that. So let me just kind of give you a quick overview of the bike itself. They've got these nice, really wide pedals here. It's good for grip. They look good. Oh, and I wanted to say they're going for all black. So right here we're seeing a silver motor, but the final one's going to be black. They've got Avid BB7 front and rear disc brakes. These ones are BB5, but again, it's sort of a prototype. Nice brake levers. And these are going to have integrated regen. So when you pull the brake, it's going to turn on regenerative braking. And they can do that because this is a 350 watt TDCM direct drive, that means gearless, rear hub motor. And so essentially inside are these big magnets. There's a stator, like a piece of metal, and that gets electrified, and that's what's creating like the power when you're riding this thing. Well, when you're coasting and when you use the brake lever, it acts in reverse and it generates power to charge that battery. The battery pack is 36 volt, 8.7 amp hour using 18650 lithium ion cells. So that's the same kind of technology that's in like electric cars and stuff. And their battery pack is going to be really, really lightweight, about 4 pounds in there. And the motor itself is, 9 or 10 pounds, but it's just really well distributed weight. See, I lift this thing up kind of in the middle. It does pretty well. It's definitely one of the better balanced bikes that I've looked at, and being able to lift it up with one hand like that is pretty impressive. Okay, so one other thing I sort of neglected to mention, there's these nice little holes all over the bike for adding racks and even a water bottle. So it's a down tube battery design, but they've got room for your bottle and just really a lot of space. Like if you have one of those hanging bike racks for the back of your car, operating this bike is pretty easy. There's only one gear standard, so single speed. You can pedal it backwards like that. And it takes your mind off of switching gears, and it also makes it easier to take care of because the derailleur and the chain going out of tune is what a lot of bike maintenance ends up being about, right? So you've just got that one ring on the front, a ring back here. It allows the chain to be tight too, which is nice, so it's not going to rattle around as much, not going to fall off as easily, and again, less maintenance. What they said they found in testing was that when you've got a throttle like this, when people need assist, like to climb a hill, or if it's a windy day, people just rely on the throttle. And frankly, I've done that too when I'm heading towards an obstacle or whatever, or I need extra assistance. I use the throttle, or even from start, I use the throttle at a stop sign. Once I'm up to speed, well then I just keep going, and then I ease off the throttle. So I think they've got a good idea here. It's really simple. It's in the like $1,700-$1,800 price range, which is pretty good, sub 2,000. Sort of has that nice stealth aesthetic. It will come with a cool multicolor seat like the one you see here, but everything else is just going to be black. I'm going to hop on this thing and give you some idea of what the motor sounds like. Again, it's 350 watt direct drive, peak output of about 600 watt. Super quiet. It's like you can't even hear it. approaching a hill right here, and I'm going to do a hill test with this just to demonstrate the power of the motor. Full stop. Not bad. We're climbing it. It's working. Impressive, impressive. I wasn't helping at all, and it did it. You know, admittedly, not the steepest hill, but definitely not fun to pedal up. Gosh. So at 34 pounds, the bike itself being lightweight like this, I just think, you know, climbing steps up to your apartment or even carrying you up the hill, the bike doesn't have as much to move, right? And I think that gives you a sense of power and maneuverability. So I just stepped off the bike. I got to ride up and down some hills and just cruise around the DC area, which is like a perfect environment for this because there's streets and there's, you know, you kind of weave around town, and it kind of sets you free. It reminded me almost of some of the Stromer bikes, just the feel of the motor, and I think actually the motor type, the TDCM, is used on some of the Stromers, and it's got that like black look matching and kind of cool. And just, yeah, going over the bumps, it's like, it's kind of a fluid feeling just because the bike is so firm, it's tight. That is a prototype review of the Riide electric bike. It was a lot of fun to check this thing out. If you have any questions, leave them below. Again, they're still refining this thing, but it should be out soon. For more on this and other electric bikes, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.